welcome to UK Ice Hockey on 4 Later. I'm Henry Naylor. An exciting day today. It's semi-final day. It's Ayr Scottish Eagles against the London Knights here at the Ayr Centrum. On paper, London Knights probably are the more favoured side, but they've had quite a few injuries, so it could be a very, very even contest. I've got some Ayr fans around me. Who's going to win tonight?
Ayr. Definitely Ayr.
Yeah?
Definitely Ayr.
But
yes.
London are on a good side.
Who cares?
And now, do we like London?
Not particularly.
Is it a grudge match?
Yeah, very much so.
Right, why is it a grudge match?
Well, we don't really like London.
Is it the English as well?
Of course it is. Of course it is. We're the only Scottish team.
OK, well, we're going to show you now how the team's got here.
Still Longstaff scores!
The Sheffield Steelers, though, have given themselves every chance now of going through the Challenge Cup semi-finals.
Here's Kevin Real. Oh, lovely move, Real. He's through on net, fires it. Oh, Lord has scored on the feed from Real.
And Belfast go 3-1 up.
Oh, Weaver's from nowhere scored! Wrestle his way free. Flips it out front. Here's Smith. Smith, he's forced it in.
Now Doyle's trying to throw punches over the top of the lines, but he's got to stop that. When he's got a job to do against Buckner, he's done the job on Buckner. Oh, what a goal, Weaver!
It's been a fast and furious road to the Challenge Cup Final Four. And it leaves us with Scotland against England in one semi-final, Northern Ireland against England in the other. This is the lineup, arguably the best 4 teams in the Secunda Super League on current form. Tonight's home team, Ayr, squeezed through by the narrowest of margins in Bracknell last week. If this shot had gone half an inch to the left, Bracknell would have forced the game into overtime. As it was, the Eagles' 3-2 victory helped them up into 3rd place in the Challenge Cup qualification table, London finishing 1 place above them. Top of the table were the Belfast Giants. Their added incentive to beat the Super League champions, Sheffield Steelers, is pretty straightforward. Hometown advantage, with a Challenge Cup final to be played in Belfast at the Odyssey Arena. Tonight, though, we're at the Centrum Arena in Ayr. The Eagles come into this match buoyed by that victory over Bracknell last week.
I think we got a good chance winning the Challenge Cup. Anytime you put yourself in a position to win something, that there's always a chance. And I think we got a pretty good team. And when we're clicking on our night, we're tough to beat.
A different mood in the London camp, though. The Knights travelling to Scotland depleted by injuries to key players.
We're just going to try to lull them to sleep. Hopefully it's pillow night here at the Centrum, because we can try to put this whole crowd to sleep and try to keep these guys off their game. But all I know tonight is we're not going to be bringing an aggressive factor to the game. We really don't have that type of lineup tonight. All we're looking at tonight is try to put some pucks behind Ruleville. And if we do that, we're going to have ourselves a pretty happy ending.
OK, we've got our experts here, Seth Bennett and Colin Hazelden. Now, folks, it's a 2-leg semi. How much of an advantage is it to play the first match at home?
I think actually for this Ayr Scottish Eagles side, it's going to be a huge advantage for them because they're so loaded with offensive talent. They're a team that can score a lot of points all at once, put a lot of goals on the board, and that's what they're going to have to do this evening. London have been absolutely decimated by injuries. They've only got 8 forwards that are going to be out there, so Ayr are going to have to be physical, try and wear them down throughout the game and try and take that advantage down to London, where the Knights so far this season have been so very good. So they're going to have to perhaps take a 2 or 3 goal lead in order to be sure of getting something out of it.
Colin, how bad are the injuries for London?
Oh, it's shocking. They're having a terrible time. I'll just run through the names. Rushforth, Walker, Urema, Morissette, Charlton, Martian, all out. Add to that Trevor Robbins, their #1 goaltender, has got to sit on the bench as well. He will dress, he'll have to, but he's not really fit to play. And goaltender Sean Silver, he might just struggle out there because he's probably going to see quite a lot of rubber.
And Seth, who are you going to pick out for the Ayr side?
I think one thing to mention straight away is the fact that Ed Courtney, he's the leading point scorer last year in the ISL. He's not going to be playing. So you're going to have to look out for the likes of Tony Hand and Jonathan Weaver. I think one more player to look out for is a new signing for the Eagles. He wasn't with them last time we saw the Eagles, but that's Deb Carpenter, former captain of the London Knights. He's the one that's joined in. He's only going to have a bit part role, but he will be around and you will notice it.
So let's have a look at the starting lineup then for the Ayr Scottish Eagles. We saw Mark Montanari score last week against Bracknell. We saw Philip de Rouville as well, made a lot of extra work for himself but kept everything out. Looking at the lineup, missing, as Seth was saying, Ed Courtney, top point scorer in the Challenge Cup for Ayr.
One addition is going to be on the left wing, that's Rhett Gordon. He's going to offer a lot of speed to that line, and he's a player that's going to make a big difference.
For the London Knights then, Sean Silver is going to be very important for them in net, standing in for Trevor Robbins.
And you also see Yussi Aloranta, the little number 28, new signing for the London Knights. He's come in and made a big impact, scoring 2 goals in his first 2 games. Another name to look out for is Mark Colasar, who he's going to have to double shift. That means he's going to skate with 2 different lines throughout this game. A lot of work for him to do.
Well, we've already said one of the key injured players is Brendan Yarrimer. Brendan, you must be bitterly disappointed about missing tonight's match.
Yeah, for sure. You know, this is my second game I missed in both games, of course, in Ayr, and I really want to play tonight because it's the first leg of the Challenge Cup. So, you know, hopefully I know our team will come out and work extra hard, so we'll get good results. We've had a short bench, which is unfortunate, but the guys are working hard and showing a lot of heart, so we're going to continue to win games.
Referee Moray Hansen in charge, a former goaltender, a Scot, but nevertheless not the most popular person around the Centrum Arena. Ayr Scottish Eagles fans think he has a bit of a thing about them. It is the Eagles who get it underway. That's the defenseman Silverplatz passing it behind the net there as they try and get things going. Puck bouncing around a little bit. London are going to have to work hard. They are short benched this evening, heavily down on players, and Ayr will want to get in their faces right away.
And you've already seen that just in the first 10-15 seconds or so. We've already seen Ayr throw out 2 or 3 big hits.
Well, if Ayr can get those wonderful forwards of theirs going, they can really dominate this game. In some ways, it might be about how few London concede at the end of all of this as to whether they're still in it after this first leg. Line change going on, played out from behind the Ayr net. They're trying to get it going from left to right in front of us in those white and orange shirts. Dumped over towards that far corner. London pick it up and take the icing.
Can really see the pace that's been set in the early stages from the Ayr Scottish Eagles. They've come out and they seem to have been the team with the energy so far, and they've been quite willing to hit. That's going to be something that head coach Paul Heavey, that's his style of game, if you like. And although the Ayr team's not been built around hard hitting, it's something that Paul Heavey's been preaching since he took over mid-season.
You wonder if he stays for next season, whether there might not be a few changes in this Ayr lineup. It's not exactly built in the Heavey mould, although he's done a very good job since stepping in for former coach Jim Lynch since he had to quit with that back injury. Ayr can't quite get it over the blue line. They do so now, set it up, take the early shot. Silver will see his first bit of rubber and turn that away comfortably enough because there wasn't really enough on it. London trying to get things going, and already Ayr in their faces, as Seth was saying. They clear it away now. London trying to get it over the blue line. Nice defensive work to get it to Everley, left-hand side. He just flips it forward, down that left-hand side, over the blue line, pushed in. They're going to try and set things up now, perhaps for Bristow. They move it around the boards, and it never gets to him, and London can clear it up. Ayr hold it in the zone, though. They are going to keep things going here. Referee's arm in the air. We're going to get a cross-checking call, I think.
Right on the boards as the puck was kept in the zone. That man Richardson went over and just gave a little bit of a shove, a little bit too hard, and didn't really impress referee Maury Hansen. Now Ayr on the power play, that man Tony Hand, he's going to be the key. He's the heartbeat of the Ayr Scottish Eagles power play. As here we see a few stats for him. Tony Hand, only 5'10", but very difficult to knock down, and he, for the whole of his career, has been one of the top scorers in the league. He's got the best vision around.
Really the closest thing Britain's ever had to a Wayne Gretzky-like figure, Tony Hand. Goes out towards the blue line. They're trying to put it in round the boards now, are Ayr, and trying to use this power play, get an advantage early on and press it home against London, who of course are struggling with all those injuries. I don't think we can overemphasise that often enough, how much work this is going to be for London this evening. Jan Mikel, great defenseman, behind his own net now, skating over his own blue line, trying to get things going. Anxiety for Chris McSorley as they play it in towards the corner. That's a big hit, and down goes the player underneath that hit from Mark Montanari, and the Italian-Canadian really laid it on there, and Chris McSorley doesn't like it.
Well, the London Knights aren't happy at all. They feel that that was a late hit, and Chris McSorley is cool and calm off the ice. As soon as he goes on that bench, he's ready to snap if something happens against his team. As we're seeing Randy Perry, here we see the hit. Bang, Montanari, the puck had already gone, and it was kind of from behind. I think Perry was just starting to turn as Montanari had already committed to the hit, but it looks like from what the physios are doing, maybe it's his ribs that are hurting at the moment.
That's got to at least win you, hasn't it? Montanari, was that deliberate as he came in there? Was he looking to do that kind of damage? Chris McSorley seems to think so.
I don't think whenever you go to try and check somebody, you try and hurt them. But because it was late, Montanari realised it was late. But realistically, the game situation, and the thing that's worrying Chris McSorley is the fact, as we're going to get one last chance to see this one, there he's played the puck, he's spinning away, he's got no idea Montanari's coming in, and he got absolutely levelled there. But the problem for the Knights is they've only got 4 defensemen. If they have to go down to only having 3 defensemen, it's going to be a real struggle for the rest of the game.
Well, he's sitting up, so that's good news for the player. It'll be interesting to see just what the call is here. Sometimes when a player gets injured and there's a penalty call, it ends up being a major penalty. It ends up being a 5-minute penalty. Looking at the replays, though, that would be harsh.
Perhaps it would be, but we've seen the London Knights, they're trying to stick up for their teammates, and I think a few of them are just telling Mark Montanari what they think of that. Looks like Randy Perry is starting to get up, but I don't know how much more of a part he's going to take in this game, because whenever you've got a problem to your ribs and the kind of ice time he's going to take this evening, well, you know, it's going to be a struggle for him if he can't breathe.
2 + 10. You see it, Mary?
Now, there's the call from the referee. Interesting, he's not gone for the major 5-minute penalty. He's taking a 2 + 10 instead. 2-minute power play for London and a 10-minute personal against Mark Montanari.
Brendan, another injury is not what your side needs. What exactly happened there?
I couldn't really tell, but it looked like he got hit from behind. You know, the ref wasn't going to call it originally, but I think he spoke with his linesman, and finally they called a 2-minute penalty. It could have been a 5-minute penalty, but you know, fortunately, hopefully, Randy Perry's going to be okay, because we're playing the game with 8 forwards and 4 defensemen. So.
Well, he really hit him hard. He hit the boards very, very loud there. I mean, it could have been more serious than it probably was.
Well, that's what Chris, you know, coach was saying. How can a clean hit? How can a guy get hurt on a clean hit? So, you know, we're glad he made the 2-minute penalty call. So hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Well, the closest London could come to unlocking the air defence on the power play was this long-range effort by Rich Bronilla. Philip de Rouville dealing with it comfortably enough. We rejoin the action with 16 minutes left on the first period clock.
5-on-3 then, just for a few seconds for the London Knights. They'll try and set this one up early. Neil Martin's waiting for the pass, comes in behind him, turns around, snaps it, just goes wide, and one man returned to the ice for the Eagles, but the power play stays on for the London Knights. They put it in behind the goal line, pass across, just turned away. Martin's waiting. If they can get the pass back to him on the blue line, they can't. Eagles intercept and come away. Good penalty killing from them. Great penalty killing from Hand, just to eat some time up on his own blue line there.
Great save as well, mixed in with all that by Philip de Rouville. Great kick save from him on the spinorama shot. I don't think he could have seen much of it, but there was a big left leg to kick it away.
Behind their own net now, the Scottish Eagles trying to clear it away, unsuccessful. There's that man Martin again. Gets it across to his right, gets it back, fires the shot in on net. De Rouville's got to stop it, and again, sprawling save as that went across the front of him.
Great chance for the Knights. Really, perhaps they should have put the finish on there. I don't think they're going to get a better chance than that on the power play.
Line changes going on the power play, taking the opportunity of it being in the London Knights end. They're getting it going now down that right hand side, looking to put it in behind. There's big Scott Young to crash in with the check and try and win the puck against the board. Pops out. Colsar will try and hold it in now. He's facing up to Gordon. He's got Bow on the blue line. Bow reverting to defence just for the pause of this power play as it's turned across goal and just forced away on the deflection. The check still being levelled in. London turnaround shot just goes wide.
Great chances for London on the power play that's just finished now, and really they should put them away. Whenever you're on the road, you've got to capitalise on your chances.
Wynne there in the corner trying to dig it up. It's pop clear. Here's Bauba, winds up, fires one. Oh, it's found its way past Silva. Dino Bauba winds up and cracks one past Sean Silva. Scottish Eagles coming off the penalty kill. Dino Bauba capitalising on the opportunity.
Great shot from Bauba, just put it all along the ice. I think Sean Silva would have liked to have had that one back though. Really, he got a clean sight of it and should have stopped it. Get another chance. What you see is a quick release. Right there in the bottom corner. Lovely finish by the Lithuanian.
Excellent work. And Ayr, who have managed to play their game through being in that penalty trouble, have capitalised on it and are really beginning to dominate this game and this first period. Puck drop then. Richardson trying to win it for the London Knights, who'll need to come straight back into this one. They're a long way from home. There's not many of them, and Ayr will want to dominate in their own ring. London trying to skate it out of their own zone. That's a lovely pass on the backhand. It's released. Eloranta, who's got Neil inside, finds Neil. Neil fires the shot behind de Rouville. Eloranta perhaps with a final touch. He's in the back of the net. Whoever got it, and London Knights come straight back at the Eagles. It's one apiece.
Great pass out of defence, and you see Alaranta fake the shot, passed it inside, and de Rouville let that squib through his 5-hole, tries to get back on the line, and Alaranta makes sure. I'm not sure that's not going to be credited to Jay Neal, because I think Alaranta's shot will get another chance now. Alaranta just passes this one across, Neal deflects it towards the net, and Alaranta comes in, but I think that's already crossed the line.
And the official credit goes to Jay Neal, whoever's getting the congratulations on the London bench. That changes the complexion of the game somewhat. Ayr had been playing their game, they had been playing it their way, but suddenly they find themselves at one apiece. And here we go now with Bristow trying to force his way into that London corner to dig it out of there. The checks go in, London come away with it now, skating freely, 4 men through neutral ice, all a little bit bunched just at the moment, goes over the line, played in, de Rouville just knocks it behind his net. Ayr should clear this comfortably, even if they are under a little bit of pressure.
The good news for the Knights is Randy Perry's back out there. He's had a little bit of rough treatment. He's taken a couple of hits and he seems to have come through it quite well. And he looks like he's skating very, very well and not breathing too heavily.
The other consequence of that little incident, of course, is that Mark Montanari is still sat in the penalty box on his 10-minute personal misconduct. Wind up, shot, London Knights turned away by de Rouville. Pushes the rebound out as far as Weaver, who has a little bit of time now to look up the ice and set things up for the Eagles. A little bit of a deflection on the pass out there. It's gone kindly, though. That's Gordon sprinting onto it. Feed inside. There's Carpenter. Oh, my Carpenter. Great feed from Gordon. Great finish from Dead Carpenter for the Eagles.
That was all about the great pass across here. Comes right onto the stick of Carpenter and he finishes. Rhett Gordon, wonderful though. Drew the 2 defensemen and then just fed it across. Carpenter couldn't miss.
Deb Carpenter, new addition to the Ayr Scottish Eagles and a former London Knights captain, doing the dirty on his old team there and doing it in fine old style. Paul Heavey will be a happy man.
Rhett Gordon, one-time pass, and then Carpenter on the finish.
Chris's tactic was to sort of close things down a bit. Why are things not happening that way? Or is he bluffing with us?
Well, we got a couple bad bounces, you know, but we just got to learn to play better defensively, especially against Ayr. You know, they're good. They got a great offensive team, so we just got to close the gaps and play better defensively against them.
And it's been very physical.
It's been very physical and very loud in here. For such a small arena, it's pretty loud. So if we could shut down the crowd, I think we'll start picking the pace up a little bit.
No time to catch your breath. Let's get straight back to Seth and Colin.
Well, this noisy Ayr crowd are back into this game now. That's going to be important for the Eagles as they try and go on and translate their dominance into goals. Nice move from Young inside his own defensive zone. He's skating away now down the right-hand side, puts the dump in and then chases it in himself. Out comes Sean Silver. He'll be challenged. London should get it clear. Another big hit on the boards, and Ayr keep it in the zone. Good work from them to pick it up on that far side. That's playmaker Teeder Wynne, feeds it inside. Young was looking for that. London intercept. Young gets it back, does a great job of holding it in the zone. He was being held himself there. Clear a penalty as you're ever likely to see, sir.
Yeah, Scott Young, old-time hockey player, a defenseman that likes to get forward. And here you just see him, both hands go around. And really, the referee had no choice but to call the penalty. Scott Young, he's so strong though, he just did a great job of holding the puck in.
Jay Neal sitting in the box. This is an ideal opportunity for the Ayr Scottish Eagles now. They're dominating the opening moments of this first period, and a power play will really help them.
They have to try and press home their advantage. Now they've got the chance at 2-1 up. If they can keep going, with London having such a short bench, they can really sort of kill them off.
There's the man Seth identified as the key on the power play earlier on. That's Tony Hand. Tony Hand skating into the zone. Lovely move from Hand, and he's set things up. They've got that little pattern going now, the Ayr Scottish Eagles, to keep this in the zone and maybe take an opportunity.
The Eagles are going to try and build up on that far left-hand side with Tony Hand. And Tony Hand's role on this is really to look up and see if he can find a gap so they can utilise the extra man.
Well, the Ayr Scottish Eagles players moving position, circling around. Hand looking for the pass now. It's a no-looker. Finds Bristow. Bristow! Oh, he's forced it in! How has he got that past Silver? Silver looked out the door shut on the near post, and somehow Bristow found the gap to put the Eagles 3-1 up.
Tony Hand, he's so good because he never looks down at the puck. The whole time he had his head up, fed it down to Bristow, and Bristow from the angle. How he got that past Sean Silver, I don't know. But that was all down to Tony Hand. He just manoeuvred the puck around. I think we'll see from this angle, there's a little gap there, and that's just where it squeezes, just below the knee of Sean Silver. He'll be really disappointed with that.
Silver is having a bit of a nightmare here this evening at the centre.
He is, and the Challenge Cup really this season doesn't seem to have been his competition. This is only his second game and he's already conceded 9 goals. However, last year he actually won the thing with the Sheffield Steelers.
This is Gordon carrying it into the corner, having to ride the heavy check there from Richardson. Stolen away by the London Knights, and they'll try and carry this away, but the whistle's gone.
Puck just went over into the fans there, as you see Brian Richardson. He's a real key character for the London Knights. He's got a lot to say on the bench and he gives a lot every shift out there on the ice, and they really need something at the moment.
They do. They need to generate something. Ayr, on the other hand, will just want to press home their advantage. They know they're playing an injury-hit side. The bigger the lead they can take to London, the more chance they have of getting through to the Challenge Cup final. Simple as that. Weaver loses out on that face-off, and London will come away with it now over their own blue line, skating swiftly, driven in around the boards by Neil Martin. Over that far side it goes. Weaver, nice stick work from him to hold that puck up, force his man into the corner, and then to feed it out to Silverplatz. Silverplatz, nice pass. They're moving it well. Here come the Scottish Eagles now with Weaver. Weaver tried to force it home and couldn't quite make it stick.
Almost a carbon copy of what we saw last week from Jonathan Weaver. Last week it was on the right wing, this week it was on the left wing, and Jonathan Weaver came down, tried to use his strength, trying to push the man off, but the defenseman did a really good job, Grant Richardson, just to push him down to the ice so he couldn't get the shot on goal.
Face-off won by the Scottish Eagles. Young thinks about dumping it into the corner, but his man was offside in front of him, so he's circling, and he'll push it in now. But that's too gentle. Nevertheless, London have given it up. Here it is with Bauba. Bauba feeds inside Byram. His shot's blocked, and London will bring it away now. They've got a 4-on-2 breakaway just for a moment. Let's see if they can capitalise. Dumped in towards that far corner. I think it's going to bounce kindly for Young. It has, and he clears away.
Ayr are trying to press home the advantage here. They're having some good chances, and Sean Silver's looking a little bit shaky, and so Ayr need to just get as much rubber as possible on him.
Shot taken, but it's deflected wide for the London Knights, and Young, a calm figure in that defence, but he fanned on that just a little bit. Seemed to maybe tug at his man, Eloranta there, and bring him down. There's going to be no penalty on the play, and the Scottish Eagles will bring it away with Mikel. Mikel over the blue line, gets to the top of the circle and changes his mind about the direction. Wynne manages to hold it in the zone, and they're going to look for the opportunity to get it back to the blue line here, I think. Bauba involved, comes back to Mikel. Mikel winds up, drives, Wynne deflects it, and it's gone in for the Scottish Eagles, who are absolutely flying. Sean Silver doesn't know what day it is. Eagles 4, London 1.
Jan Mikel with a bullet shot. Teeder Wynne, who's been snake bitten a little bit recently. We saw him struggling last week against Bracknell. Here he gets right out in front. There was no defenseman around him, and he could just deflect that one off his stick, and we're going to see it here. Clear deflection, and Sean Silver, to be honest, he had no choice and no chance on that one.
Chris McSorley really does have a problem now.
An amazing first period so far, and the action didn't stop there. At 4-1 up, the Eagles ran into yet more serious penalty trouble. Sean Byram receiving a 2 + 10 minute call for this check from behind on Mikel Kaifanoro. And it got mighty crowded in the Eagles sin bin. 4 players in there at one stage. We rejoin the action with the Knights pressing forward.
So 5-on-4 then, London Knights win the face-off, get it back to Perry, he risks it through on net and de Rouville can kick that clear. Ayr, opportunity to get rid of it, but Perry's held it in well. Winds it up, drives it again, but this is wide, and de Rouville really just kind of waves it. Arambo back on defence again from his forward position in this game to play the power play. Gets it in behind the net, opportunity on the backhand, de Rouville stops it, and a great save from him to turn that one away. London still have the puck, still driving forward on this power play, still men out in front, and still de Rouville stones them.
Having a great game so far, de Rouville. He's really standing on his head so far, and London haven't capitalised on their chances, but part of the reason is the fact that de Rouville's just stoning them.
And here's Tony Hand as the power play comes to an end.
Tony Hand, one of the best penalty killers in the country, but he's also one of the most graceful skaters you're going to see in the ISL. He just seems to do everything so easily out there on the ice.
Well, he's got a chance to get into attack now. Bauba, nice move from him, pulls it in, takes the shot, near side again. He was looking for Silver. Silver this time was up to it, and Perry can clear it away for the Knights.
Ayr obviously feel they can beat Sean Silver on the near side, having already had a goal from Cam Bristow go in just in between his leg and the post, so they tried again, but Sean Silver's got a little wiser to it this time.
Chopped away by the Scottish Eagles, who will be comfortable going in at the break. 4-1 up and confident, I'm sure, of building on it. Neil Martin behind his own net for the under-pressure London Knights. They have that stripped away. They're putting themselves in trouble here, but then Ayr give it away themselves and can't capitalise on the opportunity.
I think London are going to be totally demoralised at this point. I mean, really, they're struggling with only 8 forwards, 4 defensemen, and 4-1 down.
Carpenter with the shot, just turned away. Lovely pass from Gordon to release him, but now London can skate away with it. This is Eloranta passing it in towards Richardson. Richardson looking to feed it in towards Firstweiler. Firstweiler fires the shot, but the whistle's already gone for offside.
London are claiming the goal, though. Firstweiler points, he thinks he's scored. Immediately Maury Hansen, we're going to see here, he just got caught up in the skates of Richardson. He released Firstweiler and Firstweiler fired it home, but it's not going to count because what happened is he got caught up in the skates of Richardson. Firstweiler crossed the blue line, just putting himself offside. We're going to get one more chance, and Firstweiler just a little bit ahead of the play, but it's going to be another thing. It's another knife into the back of the London Knights, who right now, they are struggling, but they're trying to find their way back into it.
4-1. Can London Knights make up the difference? Join us after the break.
Feed inside. There's Carpenter. Oh my, Carpenter. Finds Bristow. Bristow. Oh, he's forced it in. How has he got that past Silver? And it's gone in for the Air Scottish Eagles, who are absolutely flying.
Welcome back. Air Scottish Eagles 4, London Knights 1 after the first period. I've got with me Brendan Yarramer, a star of the London Knights. Brendan, is there any way back?
I think there is. You know, our team's going to work hard. We're not going to give up. And I think there's a big way back because Air is great offensively, but sometimes they can be suspect defensively. So as long as our guys come out and work hard, I think it should be an interesting game.
Ooh. Well, whatever Chris McSorley said in the first interval seemed to have had the desired effect. London coming back strongly in the second period. But Deruva was proving to be a tough nut to crack in the Air goal. We rejoin the action halfway through the match. The Eagles still with that 4-1 lead.
Sean Byram in the penalty box on his tripping minor then. It'll give a power play to London, who've been able to come out and play their game rather than Air's during this second period after Air dominated the opening exchanges. Fired shot in, blocked, turned away. That had to hurt, but it's rung out towards that far side. London do pick it up though with Koivunuuru. Great playmaker, Mikko Koivunuuru. Sets things up on the power play, puts it in. They're just cycling it out of that corner. They've lost out now. Comes back to the blue line though. They've got an opportunity to drive it in here with Rich Brunella. Just goes under his stick a little bit and he's forced to ride the check as it goes into that corner. He'll get it back now. Gloves it down, flicks it forward. This is Neil then, picking it up, getting into the slot. Fires it in, catcher got to it, gloves it down. Shot comes in again. Derouville manages to stop that too.
Quick whistle went there, and London are starting to put some pressure on the Eagles, and they're trying to find a little bit of space on this power play. Jay Neal, it's really been influential for him, but London have to do it now. This is the point of the game where they have to start having to turn things around, because the longer the game goes on, the more tired they're going to get. Remember, Air have got a full-strength bench, and London are short-handed.
Well, that man has been outstanding so far. Philippe Derouville for the Air Scottish Eagles. He's been getting through a fair bit of work so far in this second period, and he stood up to all of it. Here come Air now, chance to relieve a little bit of the pressure on the penalty kill. They're going to skate away short-handed now. Down this left-hand side, fired in shot from Everleigh, gloved down by Sean Silver.
The other thing about the second period is the fact that Sean Silver, after having such an awful first period where he just looked really shaky and almost a bit nervous, here you're seeing him just making a really clean, confidence-boosting glove save, and that's something that goalies really like. Sean Silver, not the most confident goalie around the league, native of Thunder Bay in Canada. He's only 25 years old. Before he came to Britain, he was actually playing with St Francis Xavier University, and that's where ex-Sheffield Steelers coach Don McKee plucked him from, saving about 9 in 10 shots.
We're back to 5-on-5. Face-off won by the Air Scottish Eagles now. They've got Weaver as a potential release valve, and they find him on the left-hand side. Weaver's got some room to skate into now. He's going to be forced out towards that left-hand side. He does have a trailer behind him in Gordon. Can't use him as he's forced against the boards, and London mop up. That's good work from Gordon, but he's stolen away from him in the end. Richardson can skate away now for London. Richardson, over the red line, takes a bit of a kick into that far corner, and Silverflats can get to it. Silverflats bounces it off the boards. Air into neutral ice. They've struggled to get things going up front, but here's Weaver now. Weaver just at the wrong angle to take the shot, but he gets it back, driven in by Gordon and turned away.
Looks like two completely different teams that have come out for this second period. Air seem to be struggling offensively, can't seem to find each other with passes, where London seem to have got a lot of snap and a lot of bite and are following up on all their hits. I don't know what Chris McSorley said, but I tell you what, it's definitely worked.
Away comes Neil Martin now for the London Knights. Neil Martin skating smoothly, skating freely, just taken away from him. Still got the chance though, it's fired in, rebound given up and tidied away by the defence.
And this line with Aaron Bowe, he usually plays as a defenceman for the London Knights, been moved forward by coach Chris McSorley for this game because they're so short on numbers. And Bowe's a real enigmatic character. He seems to be one of these players that if he really wants to come to the rink and play, he's the best player on the ice. But when he doesn't, he can be one of the worst out there, and he looks like he's really turned it on in this second period.
Philip de Rouville shaking himself into focus. The London Knights bench, very short of players. One of the players who would love to be playing, Paul Rushforth, having to stand behind and help out with the coaching in his role as assistant coach, non-playing on this particular occasion, much to his chagrin. Here it is then, in neutral ice. Air Scottish Eagles skating into the London zone, feeding it inside. Opportunity for Bristow is stripped away by London, who will bring it away down the right, looking for this elusive second goal. Fed inside now. Good defensive work from the Air Scottish Eagles. But Bowe has picked it back up. He's fed it out, fired in goal. Somehow over the top of de Rouville. Came from absolutely nowhere. Bowe behind the goal line, feeding it out, and it's Richardson who gets the credit.
Aaron Bowe doing a great job. Just gets right in the face of the defenseman, strips him of the puck, leaves it go out in front, and then that's just such a beautiful finish from Richardson. Hit a water bottle off the top of the net. You can't see a better finish than that. It's the thing that goaltenders hate and forwards love.
London Knights energised already, and now they've got a second goal, and that will really change the pattern of this game.
I think the biggest thing it's going to change is the fact that the Air Scottish Eagles crowd, who have been so loud so far, all of a sudden, as soon as that goal went in, it's like a morgue in here. It's dead quiet. And as long as London can continue to push forward, it's going to stay like that.
Air trying to generate something, but as they have been all period, London are good in their own end and passing it out swiftly. Air pick it up on their own blue line now with Young. Young backwards, looking for the opportunity for the outlet pass. That's a good one. It's laid off nicely as well. Coming into the zone now for Bauba. Bauba fires one, kick save by Sean Silver. He's got his head in this game now as well.
Looks like a completely different goaltender, doesn't he?
Fed out now. London Knights skating away. Great chance. Alaranta! Oh my! Jussi Alaranta, what a finish that was. A great feed to release him, and Alaranta certainly made the most of it.
Get your stats out, because that's Alaranta's third in 3. As we see a beautiful outlet pass, and there he was hanging on the blue line, comes in and then snap right in the back of the net. De Rouville had no chance really, just left hanging out to dry. Jussi Alaranta, what an impact he's had since he's joined the Knights.
And of course Alaranta was with Newcastle, but he looks a different player now.
He's bulked up a lot since last year. The thing about Alaranta is the fact that he goes in the corner and he gets his nose dirty. And what he does more than anything for the Knights, he energises the team.
Well, after that third London goal, Ayr continued to make life hard for themselves. With little more than a minute left in the second period, hard man Trevor Doyle joined Scott Young in the bin. Another chance for Chris McSorley's men. London with a two-man advantage. Second time we've seen London with a two-man advantage then. They couldn't make the first one stick. They got rather longer on the 5-on-3 this time as they drive it into the corner, looking to dig it out. Koivunoru's in there, but in the end, the feed comes and there's no one waiting on the blue line. That's just a little bit slack, sir.
I think London are just so conscious of trying to get the puck deep in the zone. They're trying to send 2 and 3 men in, so they make sure they get it, and so they keep it there, but they just made a little error on the pass.
Well, it's counting down on the 5-on-3. We'll still have substantial time. 5-on-4 power play for London, though, and they are working their way back into this game. Another opportunity, top of the circle, fed in, intercepted, cleared away.
Huge power play for the Knights right now. They've already come back and they've really got momentum with them. If they could get a fourth goal, get this tied up at 4, I mean, Ayr are going to get rocketed in between periods anyway, but that would just completely change the complexion of this whole game.
And Silver released the pass there to set London going, but once again, as it came round the boards, there was just a lack of control on the blue line. They didn't manage to hold it into the zone, and they're forced all the way back. It's not a great power play, this. Koivunoru exchanging passes with Kolsar, coming back in again. They're looking for the firing shot from Perry. Perry gets it, rebound given up, but it won't matter. The period is done, and it belongs to London. They've pulled it back.
De Rouville, certainly the busier of the two goalies. But what's amazing is, at the end of the first period, we were talking to each other and saying, this is it really for London. They're in a lot of trouble. But look at it now, completely different game. And Ayr, they're going to be in big trouble with Paul Heavey, and he's certainly someone that won't mince his words.
A spirited fight back by the London Knights then. Their third goal scored by new boy Jussi Alaranta. Now, it was a terrific finish and all of that, but Jussi does have a little way to go learning the Knights' goal celebration techniques. We asked Paul Rushforth, Mark Colsar and Neil Martin to show us how it's really done.
When I score a goal, I do the Steve Redgrave. When I score a goal, I do the sexy stripper lady. When I score, I like to do the bow and arrow.
Sport on 4.
Welcome back. Ayr Scottish Eagles 4, London Knights 3. It's been an absolute humdinger. Brendan, what's going to be the key to this remaining period?
I think the key is who wants it more. You know, both teams want to win this game. It's the first game in the Challenge Cup semi-final, so we scored 2 late goals, which is key, and looks like we're keeping playing hard, so hopefully the third period we can get a couple more.
What's been the difference this period?
I think we're just getting a few more breaks. You know, the first period we didn't have too many chances, but this period we're getting some chances, we're getting some breaks, so.
All right, we'll go straight back to the action.
The London Knights have certainly taken their opportunities, but Ayr set lured into playing London's game.
They have been, but that's only because London have played so well so far. They've played with so much energy and so much passion. Ayr have had no choice. They've just had to keep fighting just to stay in it.
But the first period, it was the other way round. It was Ayr who came out with all the fire in their hearts.
This is ice hockey. It doesn't take long to change a game, does it?
Well, it's fired in now by the Ayr Scottish Eagles, comfortably picked up by Perry, forced to skate around as the icing is waved off. Flips it off inside, but that's intercepted by Bristow. Bristow flipping it forward, looking to get Ayr going. Hand going into the corner to battle for it, carried away, and Firstweiler should knock that clear, and does.
The early indications then in the final period here is that Paul Heavy's told the Ayr Scottish Eagles they've got to go out there and they've got to start hitting and playing with that bit more passion.
Well, the hitting was key in that first period for Ayr. They got right into London's faces and it really worked for them. They're feeding this in now. Great opportunity. I'm not entirely sure how Tony Hand didn't turn that one at least on net.
I think the puck just bobbled on him a little bit as it came across. A lovely feed, and Tony Hand all of a sudden found himself in a role reversal situation as the puck landed on his stick. And I think he was almost confused as to what to do with it.
That is the old gag about Tony Hand, isn't it? That he'd rather have an assist, given the choice.
That's just because he's so good at it now. I mean, he's so good at looking up and picking out players, and they have so much extra space. The other thing is whenever Hand's out there on the ice, he draws 2 defensemen to him, leaving a bit more space for the players playing on a line with him. And I think the 2 major benefactors of him this year and the way that he plays have been Cam Bristow and Mike Hardy.
Teeder Wynne inside his own zone, looking up, looking for the pass, but carrying it away himself instead, and doing a good job flipping it inside towards Bauba. Bauba getting into the slot, getting the backhand shot away, but that was just deflected clear.
London doing a good job defensively, just picking up their men, making sure that there aren't any extra shots that there shouldn't be on Sean Silver.
London trying to create problems behind the Ayr Scottish Eagles net. Mikel is in there, it's bouncing around. Mikel has got it, but he's got it out in front of his own net, giving it up. Great opportunity and a goal for the London Knights. And Richardson has got the equaliser for the London Knights, a game where we had given them up for dead after 10 minutes 23 seconds.
Puck breaks out in front, and there's Aaron Bowe. Had the one shot, but the amazing bit was the way he just fed it across, and Richardson had an empty net to fire into. Derouville, no chance, but not his fault this time.
And there's the feed across in a situation in which maybe an instinctive forward might have chosen to shoot, but in that case, Bowe took exactly the right decision. Ayr letting the match slip away from them at the moment, and their cause was hardly helped by this latest Trevor Doyle infraction. 2 minutes off the ice for the trip on Aaron Bowe. We rejoin the match with 13 minutes 24 to go, and the score's still tied. Face-off one then for the London Knights on this power play. They'll want to do better than they did last time. It'll certainly be an unlikely lead if they were to score. Colsar's got it now. Feeds it across to Martin. Martin on the blue line, winds up, takes the shot, bounces clear. That's Neil. Neil fires it in. He wants the goal. Referee Hansen says no.
Well, he's claiming that as the save was made, we're going to get a chance to see the replay. The puck comes in, rebounds out. The claim is the shot comes in here, and the glove goes behind the line to pull the puck out the back of the net. I think we can see quite clearly, actually, it did there.
It certainly seemed to, doesn't it? That looks very, very harsh on Neil. He's convinced it went in. Referee Moray Hansen just shakes his head.
Well, a big scramble. It's always difficult, and Moray Hansen's forced, but you can see the catcher just scoop down right behind the line and just pull it out.
Well, we don't know where the puck was because we can't see it. We certainly know where the catcher was, and that was behind the line. That seems tough on London. Maybe it might make referee Moray Hansen just that touch more popular here in Ayr. London still have it inside the Ayr Scottish Eagles zone then on this power play. Round the hash marks it goes, back to the blue line, just exchanging passes. London looking to get that key pass inside, but instead Ayr are there. That's good aggressive work on the penalty kill.
They've done really well, Ayr, actually, on the penalty kill. What they've done is they've just boxed up, used their 4 players to force the 5 players of London around the outside and not let them get any shots on the inside.
Quick release pass from Brunilla to get things going for the London Knights. Flipped in for Neil to kick this around the boards, but taken away from him, cleared away by the Ayr Scottish Eagles right down the length of the ice, and they've taken that moment of fortune and they're using it to their advantage.
Sean Silver looks almost relaxed out there at the moment, not had too much to do recently.
Philip de Rouville, on the other hand, has had to do an awful lot of work, and he's done it for the most part pretty well. That's Rich Brunilla, just going to exchange passes here, look up the ice, look for his options. Nice move, Brunilla, quick pass as well. There's Bo, Bo gets the pass, he's got the opportunity. De Rouville, what a save, just plucks that one out of the air as Bo tried to go top shelf.
He did, he went for the peanut butter, didn't he? But there was de Rouville, threw the big catcher out there, and what a showboat save as we see it again. Bo, lovely shot, but great save.
Well, Philippe de Rouville pulls one out of the bag again. It remains 4 apiece as we see Aaron Bowe. And remember, Aaron Bowe doesn't even like playing as forward when he's pushed into that particular position from defence. Necessity, the only reason he's there for the London Knights. Face-off won by the London Knights. Back to Perry it goes. They might just try and wind it up. They do. Drive it in. This is a great opportunity. Richardson finds it in. Great save. There's Bowe. Oh, there's Bowe waiting on the back door. And London have pulled off an incredible comeback. And now they've taken the lead. And Bowe loves it with that celebration.
That's the arrow right into the heart of the Ayr Scottish Eagles as the puck bobbled across, and there was Bowe. He's really energised the team. He's been there in this third period. He's been fantastic. What a celebration as well. He's got style, hasn't he?
That's a goal then to go with the 2 assists he's already registered in this game. Richardson we thought was going to bury it. That's a great initial save, it looks like, from de Rouville before it finally flips over to Aaron Bowe, and he wasn't going to miss from there, even as a defenceman turned forward. Well, London almost went even further ahead with this shot against the bar by Brian Richardson, but we rejoin the match with Ayr chasing a 1-goal deficit. Ayr then, a game they should have had won by a quite considerable margin by the end of the first period, if not by the end of the second. But somehow London have come out and lured Ayr into playing the wrong kind of game as far as they're concerned. Suddenly they need to find that first period energy once again.
Seems a long time ago, doesn't it, at the end of the first period when we're talking about 4-1 and Chris McSorley losing his nut at the London Knights for not playing very well.
Here come the Ayr Scottish Eagles now, flipped in towards that far corner. The chase will be on. Montanari's there. Gordon gets in before him, though. Gets his stick in there to try and win it. Picked up against the boards now, and they do have the chance just to set things up with Weaver. Weaver flips it in towards Gordon. Gordon circling, handing the puck. There's Weaver! Oh, the equaliser for the Eagles! And another great feed from Gordon. And Weaver was waiting, despite the attention, to tuck that into the bottom corner. Great work for Ayr.
Rhett Gordon tonight's been Johnny on the spot. He just stops, looks up, finds a pass. There's Weaver, does a splits and finishes as he's falling down to the ice. And what an impact he's made on the Ayr Scottish Eagles team. 2 goals and 2 great goals in the last 2 weeks we've seen on UK ice hockey. But that one's just something special. Sliding one-handed, and somehow he directed it home.
Another vital Challenge Cup goal from the young Great Britain star Jonathan Weaver, and it's set up yet another great finale. Five apiece then, and it's difficult to say who deserves their 5 goals more, Ayr for the first period or London for the fight back. Well, Ayr will want the extra goal. They're on home ice. It's their first leg advantage. They'll want to make it count, but they've not got long to do it. Here's Teeder Wynne, looking for the feed inside. That's a good interception, though, and London should get rid.
Having blown a 3-goal lead, the Ayr Scottish Eagles are desperate, will be really desperate to get another goal here and to take 1 lead down to the Docklands.
And it was Randy Perry with the interception there, and he's been key despite picking up that early blow.
He has. He's been a huge key. But as the clock's counting down, Ayr really have to create something now.
Fed out by the London Knights. They're trying to generate some offence through the neutral zone. That's a nice pass, but it goes behind everybody in the end. Martin just coming a little bit too quickly. London will be happy to maintain possession. They'll be confident going into their own home with a draw.
They will be. London will be very happy with this result. Ayr, though, they may feel fairly confident because they've been playing so well of recent weeks. They'll just be disappointed that they couldn't convert such a great start.
Driven shot from Dutra, turned away by Philippe Derouvel. They put it in again to the London Knights. Now they're suddenly looking for the winner here at the centre. Ayr mop up, feed it out to neutralise. This might be a final opportunity for them. Weaver's waiting in again, looking for the feed. It's never going to reach him, though. And Richardson will bring it away on the breakaway for London. Good defensive work initially, but Richardson's gained the zone. Feeds it back, comes to Colsar, drives it. Just goes wide onto the back of the net.
Outside. Great chance for London as the puck just sat there on the back of the net. Whistle's gone. What a privilege it's been to be at this game tonight. 10 goals, swinging one way, swinging the other way. I've really enjoyed it. Been just one of those nights. And Colsar, one last chance, just fires this one, just rebounds off the boards and just sits there on the back of the net. But that man, Derouvel, much better game this evening despite conceding 5.
6 seconds left, face-off in neutral ice. I think we can put this down as a 5 apiece draw. And Seth said it's been a real seesaw encounter. All credit to London, who've come in here with a very short bench, and remember, went down 4-1 in the first period before pulling this one around. Maybe, Seth, they've got the momentum going into the second leg.
I think you have to say they have, and they're going to have new players coming in and players coming back from injury. I think Paul Rushforth, the assistant coach, is expected to be fit for that game as well. He'll be a big key to come back into the lineup. But I'll tell you what, couldn't have been better for us, could it? It's going to be basically 0-0 for the next leg, as you see Sean Silver now just getting a little bit of congratulations, and he really pulled it out for the London Knights.
Paul, disappointed with the result?
Yeah, very disappointed. We were 4-1 in the lead after the first period. London are well below strength. I mean, the team's pretty much decimated, and to blow that sort of lead is really unforgivable. I mean, we could have basically finished the semi-final off right here now, and we just went to sleep in the second period. We just gave up some really soft goals, and before we know it, we're 5-4 behind, and we have to scramble to get back and get ourselves a tie. So, I mean, obviously it's not over. We need to get down to London and try and win it down there, but we could have made life a hell of a lot easier for ourselves. But now we've got a battle on our hands.
Oh, there's Bo waiting on the back door, and London have pulled off an incredible comeback.
It was just a fantastic team effort from London to pull themselves back into it. Because having gone 4-1 down, you felt Ayr were going to control it, but somehow London, even with their short bench, came out. They owned the second period. Absolutely astonishing display from them.
But I think that Ayr did control it, and they had a chance. When they went 4-1 up, the game should have really been put to bed. And I think this is a situation where Ayr really missed Ed Courtney. He's the kind of player that would have really flourished in those situations, or maybe would have notched up sort of 6, 7, 8 for them. But it didn't happen, and they allowed London to go back into the game. They were lulled into playing London's game, and then once London got back into it, Ayr then scored, and you thought, oh, hold on a second, maybe they're going to make it 6-5, but they didn't. I'll tell you what, it sets us up for an absolute cracker.
Yeah, who's going to win the next one?
Oh, who knows? It's on London's ice. They've got to be buoyed by this. They seem to be the kind of team that pulls it out when they're struggling and in adversity. That seems to be their kind of style. So I can actually see them taking it on home ice. But I don't know. I just wonder whether Ayr might be able to bounce back from this and might, in the end, just have a little bit too much in the locker for them.
Set things up with Weaver. Weaver flips it in towards Gordon. Gordon circling, handing the puck. There's Weaver! Oh, the equaliser for the Eagles! And another great feed from Gordon. And Weaver was waiting, despite the attention, to tuck that into the bottom corner. Great work for Ayr.
Well, it's an empty arena now. We had nearly 2,000 people here earlier on seeing that incredible 5-5 tie. It's been the best match we've seen so far in the series. We could have another cracker next week. It's the second semi-final between Belfast and Sheffield Steelers. Join us then.